Hello, people. I've just had a sneezing fit, so you might have to put up with me for a little while. Hang on. And why did I have a sneezing fit? It is nothing to do with corona virus. Let me see if I'm live. And there I go, up on the screen there. Why is my screen looking all blurry? Stop being blurry. Oh, look, it's gone non-blurry now. Ooh, right, have we got some news for you people? I think this might be a few days old, this one. Good evening, everybody. Swift and bold, evening, Dee Dee and all. Dave Holden, how you doing, son? You're the second to be in the chat tonight. Don't forget to hit that button, people, because it really is helpful. What the frig is that? Oh, I know what I've done there. Let's get that out of the way, shall we? Let's get that ready to rock and roll. And we are ready, people. Right, I've done 3 videos by quite a few people, by popular request. People have been asking me to do the free video trilogy, and it was the Free England one that I had as a playlist. So I've redone it. I have got it saved on another computer anyway, somewhere from the old time. But I redone it just to help people out, because they asked for it. So they all said, by the way, I've had a massive sneezing fit, and it's because my windows are slightly open and they've cut the grass today. So, just to let you know, if I say like I've got a cold, it's because I've had a sneezing fit. It is not the virus. All right? Although there are many professors and certainly advisors to the government, especially the communist advisors to government, that will be going around telling everybody that anyone that have got streaming eyes and possibly sneezing during hay fever season, this is definitely an indication of the virus and the fact that the virus is virulent in society, right? So just let me tell you, yeah, if you're told that by the mainstream media, by police officers or any of them people you're supposedly supposed to trust, yeah, tell them to fuck off and tell them you have hay fever, right? It's really simple to do, people. You just have to stand up for yourself and think for yourself. That's it, right? Poppy Lover, how you doing, darling? So you're getting a shout out every night now, aren't you, eh? You didn't think you ever would, did you? Eh? I can't wait for a ride in your Porsche. Right, here we go. And I will be coming down to dinner. I've got to let things calm down first. And I will come down and explain some more detail to you, and you'll know what's been going on. Ray Edmonds, good evening. My friend, thank you for everything you do in the background. We're calling you Supermod. And Dave Holden. Let's also see who's is there. Dave Holden, David Wesley, another one, blinding geezer. Dave Holden, Poppy. Who else is in there? Let's have a look. What's she say there? I know, lucky, ain't I? You're funny, you are. Let's have a look and see if there's anyone else coming down here. Elizabeth Sunways, Tracy, hello, David Wesley, Ray Edmonds, Poppy Lover, Tracy. How you doing, love? There you go. England till I die. Dave Mabbitt, let's have a look. So Boris is having a go at fast food outlets. I won't be told by anyone what I can and can't eat, especially that fat bloke. Now, you wouldn't be having a go at fatties now, would ya? Let me just put my 4 chins away. Right? Anyway, before we go on, I am going to attempt, again, how I'm going to do it, I don't know, but you know what I'm like. Hopefully you're all hearing and seeing me, and I do hope you are all hearing and seeing me. Give me a 5x5, because I'll just see a strange thing occur. Right, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to put this up there, and then I'm going to bring it back down again later. I want to show you this. Hang on a minute. Getting a 5x5. Well done. No, right. Although, I am under the instruction of Stephen Todd now. who is going to be my remote advisor on getting fit. And we'll see what happens from there. Right, so I'm going to go back, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Where's my green dot? There's my green dot. Right, has anyone seen this? Let me bring it down before I bring it over to you. I'll bring it down a touch so everyone can see it. Let me just make sure it comes on the screen properly. And it does just about come on the screen properly. So what I'm going to do is hit this now. Here we go, people. Everyone's out there. All right, before I do anything else, I keep saying this, and it goes pear-shaped every time I do it. Right, here we go. Do me a favour. Like and share. There it is, that one there. By me mic's in the way, right? And this one over here, right? If you subscribe, it's really helpful. Press the bell, right, next to the subscribe button. That gives you notifications. But then switch on your notifications to YouTube on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, or your home computer. And then what happens is every time I put something out on this channel, it's going to go out there. Now, let me just emphasise a few things. Me, myself, and that means twins, and hang on, I'm distracted again. Let's have a look. Ray Edmonds has contacted Rumble. Because whilst the lives are there, they're not being saved at the moment. We've contacted them. I think I'm doing something wrong. I'm not. They said there's no facility to save. It's just a live broadcast, right? Which means I can set another setting on here and save it and then upload it after. But it's much better if Rumble just said click, bing, and then it's there and it stays there, right? Now, I will be, after this week, there's only a few other little things I've got to get done this week, and then I'll be working on the webinar stuff and working on everything else, and we will be going into a lot of detail. And I will be having some conversations with you next week about something that we're doing, and I need as much help as possible in the, let's just say I think this is right, Bradford and slightly to the left. Right, I need as much help as possible, right? And I will be up there, and I possibly will be up there once or twice a week at least, right? I may be staying up there for a few days and then coming back down again, and doing all sorts of other stuff and shenanigans up there. But we definitely need to get organised up there, and we're gonna make sure that we have some form of massive impact. The other thing I'm going to talk to you about is a crowdfund for a massive, great big device, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and you can all tell me what you think of it. Let me tell you something. It might be better. I don't want to do this because it's all to do with me, really, right? You don't want to probably make the donation direct to me, but it's a bit awkward because it's only for this thing. So I need to speak to Robin to say, hey, how are we going to raise the money for it? And it may be that I have to get someone else to set up PayPal where the money can go into it and show it. And I'll tell you what it's for. It's for a barrage balloon that picks up the 8 metre by 8 metre banner, which will have the English Democrats on it, right? The helium that goes inside that is what costs most of the money. But we're going to be using it probably for 6 to 8 weeks in a certain area, and it goes 200 foot in the air, and everyone will be able to see it, trust me. So that's the main thing I want to say to you. But I'll come back to that. It's really important that we all get stuck into this and see if we can assist. And then we're going to assist with the digital area, but I also need actual physical boots on ground in the north of England, right? And I do need a lot of help. That's it. Right, now I'm going to show you something. Like I said before, I did promise you this. I want everyone to see this because it's important, right? Let's get that off of there. Hopefully you're all hearing me again. I know you've just given me a 5x5. Loving you all the bits. Don't forget to send this out. Don't forget to like this. right? Let's get up and running again. I'm still busy with cases, but from next week it should calm down a bit, and I can show you why. One of the reasons it's going to calm down: lockdown skeptics. Have a look at this online, right? So if anyone wants to see this, I've been sent this. I actually need to go back and see. When was that sent out? That was sent out on the 10th. What's the date of the day? The 11th. So yesterday it come out. Here it is. I'm going to post it. So if you want to knock that out, if anyone knows what that is, let's say, barrage balloon sounds like a lot. R101. What's an R101? I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'll bring it up and show you. After this, I'll show you what I'm talking about, and you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it. I like it. It's up to you if you like it or not. And it won't be in a football ground. It's going to be going around. But you can fly up to 200 feet in the air, quite legally. Often, you know, when you drive around sometimes and you'll see a Goodyear one up. It's just an advertising thing. It's a brand, and you use it as a brand image to show people you're there. And people recognise it, and they see it flying. And that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to show you something very soon, but let me just make sure all of this comes up. Right, CPS admits that all offences charged under the Coronavirus Act, admits that all offences charged under the Coronavirus Act were incorrectly charged. Boom. There you go, people. Right? So there's the Coronavirus Act. A Freedom of Information request has confirmed that 0 prosecutions have been made successfully under the Coronavirus Act. The request asked, since its inception, how many prosecutions have been made successfully under Coronavirus Act. The response given on Monday by the Crown Prosecution Service. The Crown Prosecution Service reads as follows. Since the CPS started its review on finalised cases charged under the Coronavirus Act of 2020, the Act, in April 2020 and up until February 2021, we found that all offences charged under the Act were incorrectly charged and therefore discontinued because there was insufficient evidence to prove the offences under the Act. There were no cases where a suspect was convicted under the Act as of February 2021. All right, now there is a particular reason I'm showing this to you, and there is something really important in the background going on with me and one other person, which I'm not going to mention. I know he's watching, I know he's listening, because I can see him out in the chat there, and he knows he's the person who sent this to me, right? So, 10th of May 2021, reference, dear, Freedom of Information Act request. Thank you for your Freedom of Information request, blah, blah, blah. The request. Since its inception, how many prosecutions have been made successfully under the Coronavirus Act? Response. Since the CPS started its review on finalised cases charged under Coronavirus Act 2020, the Act, in April 2020, and up until February 2021, we found that all offences charged under the Act were incorrectly charged, and therefore discontinued because there was insufficient evidence to prove the offences under the Act. There were no cases where a suspect was convicted under the Act as of February 2021. Well, let me just say, there were a couple of instances where people were convicted under this Act, and only, and I do want to say this, people, to everyone listening, there is only one person in this Great Britain, yeah, and I do mean Great Britain, and that is a guy called John Smith from the Common Law Courts. He is the only person I know that has managed to fuck up a case where the CPS have said we're bollocksed, yeah. He is the only person that's managed to get his clients technically convicted, right? So anyone out there that wants to listen to John Smith from the Common Law Courts, right, listen, this is evidence that the man is a complete and utter fucking lunatic, right? End of. He is the only person I know of has had a client convicted, right? Now, the CPS are admitting they fucked up, right? That no one, and all these prosecutions are being thrown out, right? The only person that has, under this act, been successfully convicted were the ones that John Smith represented in court, all right? It gets worse, people, but let me just make sure everyone is aware who that geezer is. He is a complete numpty. End of. Right, so in April, the Independent reported on the embarrassment caused to the justice system by incorrect prosecutions made under the Coronavirus Act and the Health Protections Regulations. This makes for interesting reading. Every one of the 232 prosecutions brought under the Coronavirus Act was incorrect, with its misuse described as an embarrassment to the justice system. It's fucking more than an embarrassment, people, right? This is about tyranny, full-on tyranny, right? And to the justice system. The figure will, of course, have gotten much higher. A further 127 wrongful charges. Now, when you talk about wrongful charges, you could be talking about wrongful arrest, right? Then you want to go and have a look at what happened in Bristol. Right, wrongful charges brought under the health protection regulations, which were created to enforce the first nationwide lockdown in March 2020 and have been changed numerous times for different restrictions. Right, they represent around 12% of prosecutions under the law, which is more commonly enforced by police using fines. The Liberty Human Rights Group called for the government to support people to follow health guidance rather than having a relentless focus on enforcement. Director Gracie Bradley said, "It's impossible to know how many unlawful fines have already been paid by people too afraid to challenge them." Got no arsehole. The government must urgently introduce a right to appeal fines. Frequent and high-profile instances of arbitrary and wrongful enforcement have fanned the flames of mistrust. I agree entirely. I would never trust a policeman. I would never trust a solicitor, barrister, QC or a judge in this country under the British rule ever again. Not that I did before, but I will definitely, that enforces my mistrust without any doubts whatsoever. And it proves to me and proves to others and it proves to you that the British are the problem. The CPS figures only cover finalised cases in England and Wales, and more prosecutions are currently progressing through the courts. Reports issued by Parliament's Home Affairs Committee and Joint Committee on Human Rights had called for mistakes by police to stop in April. Warning of the potential for miscarriages of justice, you ain't kidding me, and punishment without any legal basis. Do you mean like 6 cozzers grabbing a geezer, smashing him on the floor when he's offered no resistance, smashing his head on the pavement 6 times? Yeah? You mean like that type of injustice? And if I sound like I'm angry, I fucking well am. Right? And the amount of people that have allowed this to happen in this fucking justice system is disgusting. It is filth, right? Get rid of the British. The vast majority of wrongful prosecution were brought by police and withdrawn by the CPS before people were convicted. But 56 cases had to be returned to court to be quashed. Hang on. Quashed. Yeah? They've had to go back to them and quash them. This is our money, people, they're wasting on this. And let me tell you something, this justice system is not fit for purpose. Do you understand that? Because it isn't delivering justice. What it is delivering an enabling system for a tyrannous British government. That is exactly what it is doing. They include a woman who was fined £660 for a crime she had not committed 5 days after the Coronavirus Act became law last March. It gives police the power to direct potentially infectious persons to a place suitable for screening and assessment, and then taking them by force if they refuse. The law makes it a criminal offence punishable by a fine of up to £1,000 to refuse a direction, escape or provide false information. Isn't it about time the Act was repealed? And then it goes on for further details. But there's many comments on there, and I just want people to understand exactly what that's all about. So, are you understanding? CPS admits that all offences charged under the Coronavirus Act were incorrectly charged. Every single one of them. Right? Incorrectly. Right? Just have a look at that. Do you tell me whether I'm talking BS in the background, right? And just to let everybody know here, yet again, I'm going to say this one more time, and it's the last time I'll mention that jackass's name. John Smith from the common law courts, right? Everyone else has had their cases thrown out. The CPS have withdrawn them before it gets to court, except the people that you represent. Because you are a complete and utter idiot, right? That's my opinion of you. And anything on your website that you're selling in reference to the common law courts, etc., you're passing off as a court. You should be arrested for fraud. You should be charged with something in this country that stands up better than the Coronavirus Act. And let's hope and pray that someone actually goes through it. So, there is one of the indications that I'm going to put you on. So, there was something else I was going to talk to you about. And I've forgotten what it was. Let me have a quick look. I've been sent quite a few good stuff today. A lot of good stuff today. So, I'm quite happy with that. Right? Let me go back and check something before I do. Right? So, if you think I'm a bit cranky tonight, you're probably right. Right, hold up. We're going to go now and have a look at a couple of other things. Let me see if I can bring this back down. I'm going to put that back up there. Close that back down again. Right, so I've gone through some stuff. And I've done 3 independent videos that are now on Rumble. It's the trilogy of Free England, right? So I'm going to throw this up there. For those of you... Now, loads of people were saying to me, when they took the last channel down and the channel before that, right, this trilogy and playlist was on there. They obviously don't like... The people to be obviously don't like it, right? Has Foxhole Happy Somerset Day, Patriots. I really hope this can help you and get compensation. Let me just have a look at this. Rod Wright, communist. Let me tell you something. Stephen's out there. I know he is. We're never going to give up with this. Trust me. I'm going to work out something has to happen that we can push this all the way to the European Court of Human Rights and above. And by the way, it don't cost you anything to go to the European Court of Human Rights or even the UN. But there are elements to this that we need to push forward with, right? And I am going to come back to saying, please, everyone, remind me. Let me write it down in front of me. The right to self-determination. And that's for a nation, and that is an inalienable right. In other words, it cannot be taken away from you. Right? Remind me to go back to that, because I'm going to have to go and find it for you. Right, now I'm going to show you this. I want you to briefly go through this and understand exactly what this is. I did speak to someone last night. I'm not going to say who the person is. He was a very pleasant gentleman, put it that way. And he just happened to be a member. I won't say who he was or what he was. He was a member of the BNP, right? And so we're having this conversation about various things and policies, right? Now, I just want everyone to know, right? I am 100% not a communist. I am 100% not a socialist. I am 100% not a Marxist, right? But I went to a conference to watch Jeremy Corbyn speak. And I wanted to ask him some questions, right? So what I'm saying is, even if you vehemently disagree with someone, you should talk to them, right? That's what I believe. You should talk to them. Even if what they're saying, you have steam coming out your ears, that it melts every part of your logic in your brain, you should still listen to them. And you should be able to sit there and have a cup of tea and a logical conversation with them people, right? End of. That's how you stop wars, people. So anyway, I'm talking to this geezer that is in the BNP, right? I won't go into the most detail of what we was talking about, for some of it was confidential, right? So, and I did say to him, anything you say to me is in complete confidence. The only bit I'm going to discuss about is we was having a conversation. Now, he's a unionist, right? And a fundamental unionist. I almost could see it, and plus he was tired. He drove a long way from somewhere. He was very tired, right? And then we started this conversation about unionists and England. So one of the things that he said to me was the BNP do believe that England should have its own parliament. I said, yeah, but you also believe that the British Union should stay in place. That means there's a federal government or an umbrella above that. That means that the enemy is still in place. You're just a puppet. An English parliament would just be a puppet of the British. That's not what I'm intending. What I'm saying is we should void the Acts of Union and properly, take the country back. So on your screen is something. So I've done the trilogy because the trilogy is there, but a number of people, well more than three, have asked me to do this because they said it was a good red pill thing. They're short videos, but it goes through the detail, and all I do is go through these presentations that I did to try and educate people what the problem is, right? So on your screen, currently, what you should be seeing in front of you is this, right? So what I'm going to do is go down. So why independence? Well, England has no voice and is disadvantaged and under attack. Right? Why do I say under attack? It's under attack because of the common law jurisdiction. It's under attack from Marxists, communists, and the socialist system, right? And people do need to understand that. So if anyone wants to go on there, Ray, you on the nuts, mate. I think Ray is actually going on there and then he's putting a channel in there for Rumble. So those 3 videos are now up. The trilogy's now up on Rumble. I did them today. I've uploaded them, put them up there so everyone can see it. So again, if they've taken this channel down, Rumble, it seems to be a lot more decent in terms of YouTube, and it should stay up there. Right, so England has no voice and is disadvantaged and under attack. It's the common law jurisdiction system under attack. Why is it under attack? Because it is completely different from Roman law and anyone that wants complete global domination. Because the common law gives you the individual rights over the state. You can see, and especially if you see anything that's gone on with a certain little girl recently, that they're overriding parental rights, they're overriding individual rights, and to a point of doing anything they want, right? So the British Parliament and the Scottish Parliament are the 2 things that we're going to be talking about. England and the English have no voice and are disadvantaged contrary to the Acts of Union 1706, 1707. Why do I say contrary to? Well, I say contrary to for the simple reason, and it is a simple reason, that the Acts of Union specifically state that the laws of England and the realm of England will still be the laws of England and the realm of England after the Acts of Union. And it also says that about Scotland, right? So England has a constitution. In red there you can see the fairly obvious Britain does not have a constitution. It never has had a constitution. And if I go back and show you, which I might do in a minute, if I show you the other slide, it shows you the picture of the island, and you get an understanding of what I'm talking about. England has customs and traditions. It is the customs, local customs, that eventually became the common law. When I say they was in effect, because they start to spread. So if something is a good law and it works well in a village, it spreads to the next village, and it will spread to the next village until it spreads to a town, and then it could spread to a city, and then it starts to get so large it spreads to the main common law, adopts it, as a good law and a customary law, and then it can move into statute, right? So it would say X is forbidden in the statute, but everything else is fine. And everyone needs to know exactly how we do all this. The laws of England are the birthright of the English. Where does that come from? Acts of Settlement 1700, 1701, Chapter 4, right? There are many other things. Now, people should realise this, and especially if you're English. There are many scholars out there that believe that the Acts of Settlement, and there's another act which I'm not going to talk about, and the Acts of Settlement was as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Rights for enforcing your rights against the state and against the Crown and against Parliament, right? People don't realise how powerful these laws are. And that's why they took them out of the curriculum, and that's why they stopped teaching them to people. And all I do, and the reason why they hate me and call me some sort of muppet, is because they're British, I'm English. I would be proud of anyone, and especially any one of the people watching this now, and there's a couple now doing it, researching, learning law, and going to become a paralegal. If you are a paralegal in constitutional English law and you know your stuff, I would be proud to be represented by one of you in any court, right? What I absolutely see out there is the British trained barristers, solicitors, lawyers, judges, etc. They are a disgrace to this country, meaning England. Yeah, they are British through and through, and the sooner we move to get rid of them, preferably by sequestering their assets, taking their pensions, and piss them off somewhere else where they can be as piss poor as they want. England is conservative and Christian by custom and law. That is fact. The problem is in the last 100 years, and there's a particular case in the early 1900s, which was by the Secular Society. That ruling overruled another ruling in the 1800s, where in the 1800s it was confirmed that the common law is based on God's law and the Christian Bible. Then the secular society got in a way. Now, the secular politics and the secular element of religion in this country is partly what's caused the problem. And again, it's something that needs to be addressed. English taxpayers pay for Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the European Union. That is fact. And again, we're still paying for the European Union because we have now got a European Defence Union. We've now got in, and it is the British prosecuting our regular soldiers that were deployed to Northern Ireland and other places throughout the world, I may add. Just to let you know. So the British Parliament, what is it? Created by the Acts of Union 1706, 1707. It has not been around for a long time. England has been around since 927 and is potentially the oldest nation on earth with the oldest records that enforce human rights. Just think about the Magna Carta. Before that, we had the triads of England and Britain. So there are no English MPs, but there are Scottish MPs, the First Minister for Scotland. It is a parliament, contrary to point one. Point one being the Acts of Union 1706, 1707. It is now in bad faith. Welsh MPs, a First Minister. It has a parliament. British MPs, a First Minister, Prime Minister, United Kingdom's Parliament of Great Britain. That is not, repeat, not an English Parliament. And again, it is already in bad faith. Great Britain is not, I repeat, Great Britain is not a nation. It contains two nation states and a principality, namely Wales. The UK is not the UK is a political union between Scotland and England. They are the only signatories. Do you understand that? Northern Ireland has nothing to do with it, and nor are the Welsh. Right? The only signatories to the Acts of Union are between Scotland and England. And the only reason Scotland come on board, against the wishes of the Scottish people at the time and against the wishes of the English people at the time, was because the very or not so intelligent people running Scotland at the time had decided they wanted to try and conquer South America, and it nearly bankrupted them. And by the way, they didn't succeed because obviously the people in South America are running around, wonderful people, but you won't see any of the men wearing skirts, or you shouldn't be. So they didn't succeed in conquering South America. So the UK is a political union, again. The EU is a political union. Notice that political unions generally fail, and they do fail for a reason. The USSR was a political union, and the EU is all it is a new model of that. The Scottish Parliament. Scotland regained its Parliament for the first time since 1706 in 1999. The British gave back the Scottish Parliament. The British did not give back England's Parliament. This is unlawful, and the Acts of Union are now in bad faith. That's in big red elements there. Have a look at that. That is fact, not fiction. Do you understand that? And if you haven't never read, listen, I've spoke to many barristers, many QCs, even judges who've never even read our constitutional statutes, right? I find that absolutely disgusting, right? And it's no wonder we've got the problems in this country that we've got, right? The sooner we get rid of the British tyranny, the better, right? And I'm telling you, there's people that should be in prison, right? That within this establishment now that should be in prison for treason, right? And let me tell you something. Some of them are ex-services. Let me put it that way, right? So dissolve the union, dissolve British citizenship. This should excite some people. English passports, English subjects, English schools, English currency, English constabularies, English constituencies, English police, English county councils, English parliament, English traditional boundaries for cities, and jihadists return to ancestral homeland, or failing that, Saudi Arabia or Iran. Why do I say that? You've just got a solution to the 40,000 jihadists walking around the streets on London, Manchester, Liverpool, and other areas of this great nation, England. You know why? Because when you void the Acts of Union, you void the union citizenship, right? And you go back to being a subject of England or national citizenship. The actual union element, like the European Union, is gone, right? What does that mean? Well, it means that certain jihadists that are roaming these streets, we are the ones who tell you whether you are English national or whatever you are. If you've only ever referenced yourself as British, or a British Pakistani, or a British Bangladeshi, or a British whatever, unfortunately, the only nationality that's going to stay with you is your Pakistani one and your Malaysian one, or wherever it is that your ancestry resides from. Why am I saying that? Because if you go and look up Pakistani law, this is fact, not fiction, right? Or Bangladesh, fact, not fiction. And I have checked and double checked, and it is true that once you remove the British citizenship, they are not stateless. And the reason they are not stateless in this country is because their homeland, where they originate, their ancestral lands, right, they have laws that ancestrally make them, their laws say, that they are Pakistani by descent. So therefore, they are Pakistani nationals. What you do is they're not stateless, you pick them up and throw them over to them. And say, there you go, you can have them back because we don't want them. But they've never ever been into Pakistan. Yes, they have. We know they have because you trained them with AK-47s, right? So you can effing well have them back, right? That is how you deal with that problem. Now, you've got a filter system. Now, the filter system is quite awkward because what happens there, and bearing in mind, if you go back to an English Parliament and English law and a Bill of Rights, etc., and you enforce it, Sharia is unlawful, right? So that means Islam is unlawful. Do you understand that, right? That's the law, right? We are not going to be a secular society in the way that we have been. We're going to go back to our traditional Christian roots. And if people don't like that, you know where to go, right? What we're going to do, people, is quite simply, you then look at the two areas. You've got Sunnis and you've got Shia Muslims, right? The Sunnis, if they don't go to Pakistan or Bangladesh or any of their ancestral homes that haven't got laws that says that they are Pakistani or Bangladeshi by descent, in other words, if their dad or their mum or their granddads were, then they are. If that doesn't count, what we say to them is, are you Sunni or are you Shia? Right? If they say Sunni, we say, well done, F off to Saudi Arabia, right? And if they turn around and say they're Shia, we say, well done. Oh, by the way, you gay, we're going to send you to Iran, right? Good luck, son. Or if you're a woman, I'm sure they'll be able to find a burqa big enough for you. Right, so that's how you deal with that. A union of countries, not a country of countries. Now look at the screen and you will see exactly what's on there. All I'm doing is trying to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Do you understand that? I'm not here to sit here and lie to you. I'm here to tell you the truth and educate you what you should have been told when you was in school throughout your school. In fact, the AXA Union says that these rights and liberties, etc., should have been communicated to you, and every British government has, in effect, broken the law by not communicating. They removed it from the curriculum, they removed it from the bar exams, they stopped training barristers, judges, solicitors, etc. on our constitutional law. That is unlawful. That's just one of the points that we could raise, and we should be raising in the international courts. And again, I'm going to come back to the right to self-determination. Give me a reminder as we come towards the end of the show. A union of countries, not a country of countries. Have a look at this. Separate constitutional parts of the UK. You have got, and this is basic education, people, right? Should have learnt this in school. Scotland, full of the Scottish. You know, the geezers will wear skirts. And throw bits of woods about. So you can say that they are literally, when you think that they're, they call it tossing a caber, right? So, and they wear skirts. So we can call them tongue-in-cheek people. Tongue-in-cheek, I like the Scots, but they are cross-dressing tossers, right? And what we've got here is England and the English, most wonderful people. We normally dance around a maypole with funny little flowers on us, and everyone thinks them lot are weird, right? And you've also got Northern Ireland, Northern Irish, etc. I've got to probably say the people in Northern Ireland are more English than us, and I've got to tell you something now, and I do want everyone to understand this, people. The Northern Irish are probably about the most sane out of everyone, right? I don't think they've got any real strange habits like maypoles or tossing cabers with a skirt on. I think they just go and stand in a pub and have a chinwag at the end of the week when they've had a proper work, right? So I'm just saying that. All I'm doing is explaining it to you as I see fit, right? So here we go. Wales is that sort of add-on bit. Don't know why God decided to put an add-on bit onto the greatest country in the world, which is England. Someone decided to call it Wales. They've got a separate language. Wonderful people, by the way, and really good singers. And I do believe that. The actual country has been completely and utterly destroyed, not by the English people, but by socialism and the socialists who took control of that country, right? It is technically a principality. I'll refer to it as a country or a principality. Vice versa, same thing. But Prince Charles is a complete and utter wanker. Right, so I've just got that off my chest. There it is. And by the way, people, if you can see this in the middle there, that little spot in the St. George's Channel, and I do just want to make sure everyone understands, that is not called the Irish Sea, that is called the St. George's Channel, and this little bit down here, believe it or not, is called the English Channel. Someone better learn out there one day that England is a great nation, and when the British start changing the names of the oceans round it, because they want to eradicate the English and St. George and everything else that goes with England, you can fox trot Oscar. So here we have St. George's Channel, right? And there we have the Isle of Man. Isle of Man, again, is a complete independent nation. It wasn't even part of the European Union. Most people don't know that, right? It is also one of the first to come out of lockdown because it turned around and said, shut up, we're not listening to you. Right, so there you go. There's Great Britain in black. And there's some in the BNP that reference that it may be all black in another 20, 50 years if we're not careful. And that's no disrespect to black people. I've got to tell you something, because the blacks will move the same as the whites will move. Trust me, right? And I've seen it again and again and again. Very intelligent black people, what I would say is middle-class black people, right? They do not like living in black ghettos, right? Go and ask them. And they'll tell you, no, I would rather live as a normal Englishman in a normal English town and embrace the English, the culture and the customs, and we all love each other. That's exactly as it should be, right? Not getting into British slums and British deprivation of certain areas because that's all they do, right? That's why you looked at these countries and how they get destroyed, and they get destroyed because the British destroy them. So the British Isles is those islands, and you'll see the Outer Hebrides up there, you'll see the Isle of Skye, you'll see all the other elements in there. There's two other elements down there, the Isle of Wight, you've got Jersey, you've got Guernsey as well, again independent nations, and you've got Great Britain. Now Great Britain is simply the solid black area that contains two nation states, which is Scotland and England, and one principality, which is Wales. All right. So everyone understand that? British Isles. The British Isles, this is a picture that depicts it. It's the United Kingdom, right? On the left, you've got Ireland. And Ireland is split between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, and there is currently a soft border. We've got no problem whatsoever if the Northern Irish want to stick up a hard border, and a hard border being a bigger the better, with a massive, great big moat that goes right down. If you want us to make Northern Ireland into an island, proper island, we will, right? There is no issue whatsoever with digging a 1 mile moat right the way round there and getting that so everyone knows exactly where they stand. And if you think I'm kidding with that, there are places in the world that have done similar things. United Kingdom, Great Britain, Scotland, Wales and England. Again, Great Britain contains, and I've already said that to you. So what you're seeing there is the combined element, the Crown. The Crown covers the British Isles, the Commonwealth, the British overseas territories, Crown dependencies of the Isle of Man. Again, I've already mentioned them. My opinion is that's what Northern Ireland should be made into, a Crown dependency. Nothing to do with the UK. They manage themselves completely. And Ireland, Republic of Ireland, etc. Insurgent organisations rooted out. The Fabian Society, Common Purpose and others. You know what I'm talking about, people. This isn't just about the Fabian Society, although them people are absolutely lethal to this country. They are Marxists. They have destroyed this nation, and we need to make sure that we take action against them. England surrounded by socialists. Parliament and First Minister, British. Parliament and First Minister Scottish, Parliament and First Minister Welsh, Assembly and First Minister Northern Ireland, and Parliament and First Minister in the Irish. There's me sitting on the chair. Most of the people watching this show are sitting there on that chair, and what do you see? You see an Englishman or an Englishwoman, loads of knives in their backs, and you can't blame me for the trust issue. You're seeing what's going on, people, right? We're surrounded by socialists. England is not a socialist country. The National Health Service was the first step on the road towards that, and that's why it should be shut down. You're seeing that socialist Nazi system of a National Health Service sided against you with a tyrannous government. Do you understand that? Right? And once you understand that, you'll also understand you'll get far better treatment if you're paying for services on your own. England is the only country in Europe without its own parliament. That is true. England is politically voiceless. Laws are broken without redress through the British courts, and I've already spoken about that. You're seeing that happening now. That's why I wouldn't trust a British judge. I don't like judges. I don't like QCs. I don't like barristers. I don't like solicitors. I do not like any of them that adhere to the British way. Right? Because the British justice system is corrupt. They are corrupt. They have politicised the judiciary. It is supposed to be independent of the government and parliament. It is no longer that way because they appoint the these people. And I could go in further detail than that, but I'm not. England has a constitution that protects individual rights and has a Bill of Rights 1688. English laws are ignored by British courts. English legal system is common law, customs and statutes. Can't blame me for my trust issue. And again, England is being attacked from all directions and from within via the British establishment. Regions of the New World Order. You need to look at this, people, because regions were literally something that the European Union come up with, along with the British, to destroy England. Who was the first person to start implementing it? John Major. That's fact, and that's not fiction. That is absolute fact. You can go and look it up, and I could go into further detail. I won't. I'm going to show you the slide. I want you to see the slide on the left, which is England divided into regions. London is an assembly. London is a region of the European Union. That's why the Metropolitan Police Service act in the way they do. They are a law unto themselves. They are a law to Marxists, communists, and to socialism. That is what you're seeing on the streets of London. That's when they attack. They only attack us, people standing up for the rights and liberties against the state. When you get the left demonstrating, whether it be Black Lives Matter, Antifa, or any one of those lunatic people that are so far left you couldn't get any further left without falling off the planet, right? And that's for the flat earthers. What happens? The police don't touch them. You can clearly see who and what they are and who they're guided by. And by the way, through block voting, through corruption, through a corrupt system of voting, in London, Sadiq Khan has now been re-elected as London Mayor, right? I was interviewed on RT 5 years ago. And what did I say? Then they said to me, what do you think about having a Muslim Mayor of London? And I said, this is the worst thing that's happened to London since the Blitz. I also called him a ponce live on air. And again, people remember that. And by the way, it's still out there on YouTube. A particular channel where it had over 1 million views was taken down. It is now on RT, but you can tell that YouTube are keeping it down. It doesn't allow it to be pushed. If you ever go and want to watch a video that will make you spit your tea out, go and watch that one. Because when I'm being interviewed, I'm telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. People loved it. I even got told by the producers, when you're on, our phones light up and it's all positive, right? So you can't tell me that my voice is disliked out there in the streets, because it ain't, right? And I'm not here to bullshit you or lie to you. I'm here to tell you the truth. So look at that. Scotland, by the way, under the European regional system, and currently the British regional system, is an independent nation in terms of it doesn't lose its national identity. Wales doesn't lose its national identity. The country that loses its national identity is England. That is the purpose of the regions. It is to destroy the nation from within. That transferred via the Patriots Act to FEMA regional contacts. And that's a diagram of the United States of America, and showing you what the Patriots Act did via the Department of Homeland Security, and it split the nation of the United States into 10 regions. Why are regions important? Regions are a key phase in destroying a country internally and removing power from the people. What is the purpose of regions? Regions are a mechanism used to destroy the previous and existing structure and culture of the nation. That's what they're doing, right? And any country that had decentralised power and local government. And the problem I've got is the people in the BNP, while I agree with some of their policies, what I absolutely vehemently disagree with, and I actually said to the fellow that I was talking to last night, you do understand that I've never ever voted BNP or supported BNP in my life, didn't you? And he said, no, you probably haven't. And I said, but it's nothing to do with your general policies. Some of the policies I absolutely disagree with. I would say 90% of them were good at one point. Right, and I said the policy is that you're British and you're never going to change anything. I don't know where that comes from. There is some sort of mental block with people that don't understand that, and you should understand it. Trust me. So you have USA and England being regionalised. One, because of their constitutions. They have to destroy the constitution of the nation. Our constitutions are the constitution which give the citizen or the subject of the realm equal status to the state, right? Or actually more to the individual. So they protect individual rights. Decentralised. But after 9/11 attacks, the Patriot Act allowed for Department of Homeland Security, which created the powers of FEMA Regions 1 to 10. Who created the power for the enemies? That's simple. You look at who removed the power. Who removed the power from England? The British did. All right? It's a simple. Listen, this is simple. And when it's shown in front of you and you see it in a little drawing, you think, "Oh my God!" Right? The power is removed away from England for various reasons, but it's there, dead. Right? All we've got to do, we can reignite England easy. We would be 100% going for it. Right? And I would make sure that all those British. Or even British trained solicitors, barristers, etc., we'd get them out. They wouldn't be in our parliament, right? We'd go back to the commoners. We'd go back to real people. And we would be the people in charge. And the judges will do what we say and what we legislate, right? So the British gave political power to. So this, down the middle there is the British flag. Who did they give power to? Well, the global Islam, the caliphate. And people will say, "Oh, it weren't that. No, it was 1400. Blah, blah, blah." No. Go back and look at Syria. Go back and look at the Middle East. Go back and look at Iran. Go back and look at that whole area. And then look at the Middle East crisis. Look what happened there. And look at who's smack in the middle of stirring up the shit. I'll tell you who it was, the British. They had MI6 officers. One of them just killed himself. Not just, or fairly recently. Evidently, he jumped off a balcony in Turkey. And they found him at the bottom of the block, laying there, brown bread. And he was the person that was involved. The British, they created the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They created the royal family. That's a fact. That's not fiction. The British, and then you've got the issues with the oil, blah, blah, blah. The British created Pakistan via the Fabians. Did anyone know that? That's a fact. The British created China via the Fabians. That's a fact. The British created Israel. Let's have it right, people. Let's just talk about the British, right? We've got Jeremy Corbyn and the lefties and all these people all out there having a scream up. We hate Israel. We hate Israel. Let me tell you something. I don't support Israel. I'm not a lefty. I don't support Israel. Do you know why I don't support Israel? Because Israel don't support England. Israel wants England dismantled, without a doubt whatsoever. Right? So anyone out there that supports Israel, you've got my opinion on that. Yeah. If people want to talk about Zionism, I agree. Yeah. And my gloves are off now. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling you the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Right? Israel's part of the fucking problem. Right? Who created Israel? Who submitted to Jewish terrorism? The British did. Who created Israel and who split Palestine and caused that problem in the Middle East? The British did. People need to grow up and look at the picture and see where all these major conflicts all over the world. The British, do you understand this? The British are the enemy of humanity. And someone out there needs to stand up and say it. And I am one of them people. The USSR was created by the Fabians as well. So who created the USA via a constitution? Oh, look at that lovely little picture there. Look. The English did. Because virtually every part of the English constitution was adopted by the founding fathers of the United States of America. In 1876 it was stated, and the words were, we want the same rights as an Englishman. And the British said, you ain't having them, and started firing them. Give us your guns. No, out of my dead hands. All of those elements are absolutely true. The people out there, the British were actually attacking the migrants from England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and other places, and Ireland and other places around the British Isles that went to America. The Mayflower left on 1620 with a Bible on board called the Genesis Bible. The Genesis Bible did not allow for kings and it did not allow for the Pope. right? He said both of them are false idols, stop it, right? Those people went in 1620. 1620 was well before the British even come along, right? You should be looking at the British as the same situation as what the Romans were, and in history one day when we take this great country of England back and it rises from the ashes of socialism that was initiated by the socialists after the Second World War via the National Health Service, with 1.5 million people working for it, all socialists, all ganging up against the people, working with the government and tyranny to put you into lockdown. When the fuck are you going to wake up, is my answer. And I'm not talking about the people who are watching this show, I'm talking about the people who are going to watch this at a later date. So there it is. Who created the USA, the most powerful nation on the earth? I'll tell you who created it: the English Constitution and the hard-working, God-fearing, loving people of the United States of America. Because they took on the English system and loved the English system as much as what I do. I could class myself as an American alongside as an Englishman tomorrow. And especially to love England is to love Texas, and to love Texas is to love England. Right? There it is. What did we create? Well, America isn't the number one economy in the world because it's the largest landmass. Because it isn't the largest landmass. Russia is, right? It isn't the largest number one economy in the world because the amount of people and populace, that title goes to China. China is communist and has to steal from Russia. Actually from Russia as well, but has to steal from America and steal from us. Because it hasn't got the brains it was born with. Because it doesn't allow people to nurture their intelligence and to create in their own right. That's the problem with communism. So, people, I'm just going to go a little bit further on there. Who attacked the USA? And I think you're seeing that on there. Hopefully you're seeing that. Who attacked the USA? The British did. It wasn't the English. The English were actually the immigrants to America. So the British actually attacked us. So imagine me going to America tomorrow, and it's no different. If the British started to attack again, let's say I'm an American citizen, they're attacking me, right? That's exactly what happened. So again, you had the war. The American Revolutionary War, the War of Independence, 1775 to 1783. Not long after that, you had the War of 1812, where, again, the British attacked. And people need to understand that there was a further attack, and people don't realise what that was. Let me see if I can actually bring that last piece up. It don't look like I can. So that's going to be a bit faint. Anyway, they carried on attacking, and they've attacked the America. This is the British have attacked America non-stop since. And the more significant the attacks was in 2016. Once President Trump got elected, they realised that they was banging trouble, and they attacked him. They attacked his businesses. They attacked his family. They attacked in the United States of America from within, and that is all organised socialism. Obama is a Fabian. The Clintons are Fabians. It's called the Third Way. Go and check it out. Right. So I'm hoping everyone enjoyed that. What I'm going to briefly do now is show you one thing to close the show on, and I'm hoping you've enjoyed this one. I know I've been a bit erratic lately, but it really it's just one of those things. So I'm going to now try whether this works or not. Let's have a look. I'm going to see if I can go and try and find something for you. I'm not sure where this would come from, and it wouldn't be there, would it? I am going to try and find it. Hang on. I'll tell you what. I've got a funny feeling now. I'm going to need to find... I'm going to need new hard drives. Come on. Right, that's just come up. So I want to go for... I'm going to show you something now. And I did say I was going to finish on this. Again, the channel and through donations, I've also bought international law books. Some of them are very, 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 very good. Right, so I am, and I've spoken to Robin about some other things that I may be doing in the background. But I'm going to go for UN. I'm going to see if this comes up. The right to self-determination. UN. In the right to UN, the right to self-determination. Instruments, minority rights, the right to self-determination. What does the right of self-determination mean? Wikipedia, self-determination. Self-determination, essentially the right to self-determination, the right of people to determine its own destiny. Right, here we go. So just to make sure, remedial succession in international law. There's some things on there I'm going to look at. Right, so self-determination. I'm not sure I can actually put that on the screen from here, but self-determination. All peoples have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social and cultural development. UNPO's members are in indigenous peoples, minorities, unrecognised states, England, and occupied territories, England, that have joined together to promote their right of self-determination while also defending their political, social and cultural rights and preserving their environments. What is self-determination? So I'm just going to go and put this up there. People should be aware of this. Now, I want you to understand, the left jumped in and intervened with many British territories. The only one that they seem to want to attack is the English one, right? I ain't got a problem with getting rid of the British, and I do want my country and the self-determination of my nation and my people to survive. So here we go. I have actually pinned that up there. What I'm going to try and do is show you this again. Let me just stick that up there. You can go and read more details of this. Hopefully you're all watching this and hopefully you can still hear me. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me. I'm hoping you've all enjoyed this show, but I'm going to show you this last bit. It is important that you see it, right? And you understand my thinking of that. We need a strategy to progress this forward because with the British controlling the media, the mainstream media, the social media elements, with us being banned on every platform, Robin Tilbrook being banned off of Facebook. What, the leader and chairman of the English Democrats being banned off of Facebook for what? Right? And people need to understand that we do now need to start to take this to international level. So what I'm going to do now is ping that down there, show you this, what I'm looking at. So there's the self-determination element, right? So self-determination is essentially, what is self-determination? Essentially the right to self-determination is the right of people to determine its own destiny. In particular, the principle allows a people to choose its own political status and determine its own form of economic, cultural and social development. That's not what's happening. The British are imposing something on England that England don't want. To choose its own development. Exercise of this right can result in a variety of different outcomes ranging from political independence through to full integration within a state. The importance lies in the right of choice, so that the outcome of the people's choice should not affect the existence of the right to make a choice. In practice, however, the possible outcome of an exercise of self-determination will often determine the attitude of governments towards the actual claim by a people or a nation. Thus, while claims for cultural autonomy may be more readily recognised by the states, claims to independence are more likely to be rejected by them. Nevertheless, the right to self-determination is recognised in international law as a right of process, not of outcome, belonging to peoples and not the states or governments. So what I'm saying to you is that is exactly what Scotland should rely on, and that's what we should rely on. So we should be given a referendum. Do you understand what that says? So if it recognises the process, it should allow us to have a referendum. But then we've got the British media to deal with, because they're the ones who are going to be causing us the problems in a referendum. You, the people, are the people that's going to know and help us how we're going to resolve that. Let me just have a look. So international law, there it all goes in there. I'm going to put this in there. I ain't going to read through it all. You're the ones that should know everything and anything about that. So what I'm going to do is put that information in there. If I can get my fucking thing over there. There you go. Right, hopefully I didn't swear too much. There it is in there. Not sure, but if anyone wants to check to see if I'm on Rumble Live at the moment, give us a pop over to Rumble Live. I believe the link to Rumble Live is in the description. So you click on the Rumble one. And you should see me live on Rumble. Now, currently they're not saving. That's nothing to do with me. I thought I was doing something wrong. It's because they haven't brought that part of it live yet. They said when I actually upgraded to the live service, they'd only actually issued it for about 3 days and I would bang on it. So I've got on there as one of the first live broadcasters on Rumble. It's going out live. You're seeing it up there, but they're not actually saving them yet. There is another way I can do it, but I'd have to have a look. And I'd need a massive fucking hard drive here and all, which I've got some hard drives here. Rumble's 5x5. Ray Edmonds, well done. So everyone can see that on Rumble. I'm not sure what the picture looks like on Rumble. Is it evidently Rumble allows up to 4K in live broadcast? That means you would get a better picture there, but it's no good. You still need to come back to this to see the saved episode. And what I will be doing in the future is every 24 hours I will take the live down off of YouTube, and then we'll get them. If it's broadcasting to Rumble, it will stay on Rumble because they are bringing in a save feature, which will automatically save. You are live on Rumble right now. Christine Horsby, thank you very much for that. Anthony Sweeney, you are live on Rumble, DD. Well done. Don't forget on Rumble also to click on there and register with it and get notifications, etc. Don't forget, I am going back onto the webinar. The webinar stuff is I've just parked that slightly because I need to do some other things in the background. There's some really important stuff that I'm working on. I love this channel. I love the people that watch this channel. I love your support. And we're all doing this together. Listen, I'm just part of a team, yeah, and you're part of that team. We're a team moving forward to taking England back. And remember something. I want everyone to remember this. I don't care who you are or what you are, yeah. I want you to remember something. I don't care what colour you are, right? That is a British, no good, nasty, horrible thing to start doing. People's got over that. People are saying, "Oh, leave us alone, will you?" I don't care what colour you are. I care that you want to adopt the English culture, the English laws, and you love the fact that the English, whatever colour you are, will protect your human rights, will protect you and your family, right? That's what I care about. That's it. Trust me, that's it. I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not interested in that bullshit. But, and there's a massive but to this, by saying that, don't believe that I don't respect the rights of the indigenous population of England. And the indigenous white population of England, right? You got to understand that. So I just want everyone to understand exactly where I'm coming from there. Don't think, and especially if there's anyone, whoever watches this from the BNP or whatever, I've never voted BNP in my life and never would. And the reason for that, the reason's in the name. The British National Party. Don't do British, mate. They're the enemy. So, again, I'm out there. We need to really start pulling people together. There is something that we'll be looking at. I'm going to be spending a lot of time possibly up north. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I want to knock on every single door in a certain constituency. And I need bodies up there, and I need people helping us that can knock on them doors, that can help us deliver leaflets, that can help us do this thing. And again, I was going to show you this. I forgot to show you. Oh, right, you've all seen this before, I'm sure you have. This is new, and I may think of another way of doing it, but this is new. I might even speak to someone else about it. Let me have a quick look. Was that? today, and I will say this as well, today we remember the 56 lives lost in a horrific tragedy on the 11th of May, 1985 at the football game between Bradford City and Lincoln City. Never forget, rest in peace to 56. God bless and rest in peace those 56 people that lost their lives. So again, just letting you know, let me just bring that up there and show it to you. That was an extremely, I actually remember that. I'm watching it as well, which was terrible at the time, watching it, but there you go. So again, there it is. Do remember that tragedy. So there you go for that one, people. Now, what I'm going to do is show you this picture, because I think you ought to see it, right? What I was talking about is the barrage is the piece at the top there, right? That's 8 metres long, 3 foot wide, and it takes some serious filling with helium. And then you've got this banner that is double-sided, right? Now, that banner is 8 metres by 8 metres. You take it right up in the air. It's tethered. You can have it 200 foot in the air, right? The beauty of this, if it's as simple as possible and it is just telling people who we are with the English flag on it, people will recognise the brand and will be able to see it for miles around. Vote English is a simple message. The English Democrats putting England first and an English Parliament. High definition, we want to get that done and up there. Right. I don't know how we're going to raise the money to buy this, but including the gas... And don't forget, this can be reused, right? Including the gas, it's about 12 grand, right? Now they managed to get the money for this silly little puppet, horrible puppet of what they depicted as President Trump with a nappy on, etc. And that come to something like 20 or 30 grand, right? Now, this is a pretty standard piece of kit. It's the gas that's costing the most, well, not most money, probably about half of that is the gas, helium. It's tethered. You can fly it up to 200 feet in the air. If you want to see that in certain areas, any areas where we start standing in different areas, and we've got a number of elections coming up, you tell us. But one way or the other, we need to be able to, and because it's long, I mean, 8 metres... It's going to be a fair old length, but I'm sure there's ways in which we can do it. I may even ask you and see if we can get that cut into 4 metre parts. So you'd have 4 metres either side, right? And what I'm doing is now planning live in my head, because you may want to have that up for 4 days in one area and then take it back down again and go to another area for 4 days. What you don't want to do is let the helium out, because the helium can cost thousands, right? So you need to keep it within them vessels, take it there, drive it, and let it up, and everyone will see it. There may even be a way, and I think this is highly likely, where we could even put LEDs around the edge of it or whatever, so it really stands out to people. As it goes dark, you'll see that flag standing there, and people will go, wow, look at that, right? So I just want everyone to know. Let me have a look. Yeah, but don't donate to me, right? Not yet. We need to find a way of doing it, because this is specific to this, right? We need to find a way of doing it, because that's going to belong not to us, not to me. It's going to be literally the English Democrats. But we will take that. Once you've got that, then after that, all you need to do is pay for the helium. And then you need the people to stand there and make sure it's tethered. You can tether it whatever way you need to, but obviously you need cameras on it as well. If it's on a private bit of land, it's even better. Any farms in certain areas or bits of land or whatever, where we can stick that up there. and everyone for miles would be able to see it. So I'm just letting you know that's one of the things that we're doing. There's other bits and pieces. I need at least 50 people, boots on the ground, maybe a lot more than that, for a certain area coming up to give us a lot of assistance in leaflet drops, talking to people, knocking on doors, etc. And I am going to be up there. Potentially Brett might be up there with his mean machine of a tower van as well, so we can be talking to people up there, and we're going to get this rocking and rolling, right? I think now we've got to pull all the stops out to get this done, and we need to stick one person in particular, I know there's 2 or 3 people it could be in Parliament. That's it. Be lucky. I am going to say good night. God bless. God bless England. God bless the United States of America. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is its solution. I believe in England. I believe in you. I don't give a flying fig what colour you are. But I also respect wholeheartedly my ancestry, going all the way back to a knight in Norfolk, right? You never ever forget the ancestry of the Anglo-Saxons that give us our way of life, right? The Germanic tribes that come over here. Listen, I'm not going to debate any of that, right? That is true. But England has been a country, a great nation on this earth. It give everyone the first human rights laws with the Magna Carta of 1215. Someone out there, somewhere, has to respect that and stop these socialists taking England down, right? And it is the British that are the biggest cause of that, and we need to stop it. So God bless you again. God bless America. God bless everybody in England, and most definitely God bless the people that watch this show. You are the people that make this show. The reason why I do this every night is because I'm a gobby Englishman that believes in my cause, that believes in my country, and believes in my countrymen and women. That's it, right? Once we take back our nation, and I feel it in my blood that it's coming, once we take back our nation, I'll just go and build a business. And because I'll have no interference from the state, I'll earn a lot of money. That's it, yeah? And then when I become wealthy, I would become a philanthropist, and if I could give, and even if I only earned 100 grand and I had X amount spared, then I'll give it to people that need it more than me. That's the way I think life should be, right? I am automatically, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am not a natural politician. I can't stand there telling people lies, and I certainly can't have the interests of corporations put before individual rights, which is what's going on now. That's it. Be lucky, and I will see you tomorrow evening. Any messages, anything, don't forget to email me, graham.moore@protonmail.com. Don't forget to go to the www.daddydragon.co.uk, which is the website. Don't forget to go to, wait for it, don't forget to go to www.takebackcontrol.vote. Yeah. Don't listen to these idiots in the background that are telling you not to vote. That's exactly what the Marxists want. They've spent their entire last 100 years demoralising people, and now you've been demoralised not to vote. What you really need to do is vote, and vote English. It was up on your screen. That's it. Be lucky. I'm off. Tiddly-poo. And before I do, I'm just going to leave you with that image. Vote English. Imagine that 200 feet in the eye. Oh, I love that, I'll tell you. I would just sit there staring at it all day with admiring glasses.